what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In this video, we're going to be reacting to the Cleveland Browns versus San Francisco 49ers game where the Cleveland Browns defeated the 49ers 19-17. I'm recording this intro a couple hours after the game ended because I was very hyped up when the game ended and I needed a second to kind of cool off. All I'm going to say is this: 49ers, good game. Browns, you give them heart attacks. This is going to be a long video, so buckle up, and if you're going to enjoy it, as always, make sure you do drop a like. But without further ado, let's get into it. Fair warning, I'm going to be abysmal, and every other Cleveland Browns fan online is being abysmal, so I'm going to join them. That was a game. I guarantee if I was hooked up to a heart rate monitor, you would have seen the spikes going first quarter, down, second quarter, kind of up, then back down, third quarter, up, then down, then fourth quarter, straight down, then it was like, end of the game, we got our field goal, they're up, then the missed field goal, it was about to happen, and it was just bouncing. I'm going to kind of walk you through the emotions of this game from beginning to end real quick, and then there's like a whole bunch of different things I want to get into. First things foremost, I want to say great game to the 49ers. I thought they played a good game. Offensively, they played a good game compared to how the defense of the Browns was playing, because that defense of the Browns, holy fuck, they were hunting. The Browns defense played really good, which made the 49ers offense kind of a little bit sluggish. They were still able to run the ball a little bit in the first half, and then a little bit later on, I'll get to the point, they were able to not really run the ball that much. The weather was impacting the game, and this was impacting both the Browns and the 49ers, so the weather was impacting some things. 49ers defense, they still play good, but that kind of was because the Browns had a third-string quarterback out there. But to kind of wrap up for the 49ers, like I said, they played a good game. Could they have won this game? Yes. But, I mean, we'll get into the missed field goal. This game was like just a whole bunch of emotions, because coming to the game, we already knew. And one thing I want to go ahead and just start off with now is something I'm seeing people from all social media pages, from the national media to the bozo media, from people on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, people saying the stuff about like the injuries that the 49ers were dealing with like Deebo Samuel going out in the game, Christian McCaffrey having the oblique injury, and I think at one point I saw blood running down his leg. Somebody tell me what happened there. I'm seeing 49ers fans like make an excuse saying, we would have won if we didn't have these injuries happening. Deebo Samuel went out in the game. We couldn't adjust. Christian McCaffrey went out in the game. That's what slowed our run game down. You didn't shut down the run game. Do I need to remind you that we didn't have Joel Bitonio, all-pro left guard, Jack Conklin, our right tackle. He's been out the entire year. Pro Bowl right tackle. Nick Chubb, elite, arguably the best running back in the league. All-pro, Pro Bowl, you name it. A all-pro first team. Running back Nick Chubb has not been out there since week 2. And our starting quarterback wasn't even out there. Not even our backup quarterback. Our third-string practice squad quarterback was out there. And we still somehow found a fucking way to win the game. So for all you 49ers fans that are trying to complain saying, the injuries, they kept us from... Stop it. Stop right now. I even had this Twitter page I stumbled upon it when I was scrolling through Twitter. They basically were talking about... It says here, here's what you'll hear this week. And this is everything that we're going to get into. 49ers fans are going on saying, the 49ers lost Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. But they're probably not going to mention the thing with the Browns is that we are missing our starting quarterback, our starting right tackle, our starting left guard, and an elite running back, like I just said. Then, oh my God, let's get into the refs. You can kind of read through this if you want. I'm going to kind of summarize it. But basically, he's talking about, probably won't mention the whole thing with the Browns had a TD wiped away on a bogus call. That was on the screen pass. They called a hold on Jed Wills. Was it a hold? You could argue it, but just the fact of every time there's an offensive hold, Jedrick Wills is always somehow involved. I'm saying it now. If this man's still on the team next week and he doesn't go out there and just I don't want to see a single penalty. I don't want to see a highlight of Jed Wills next week. If that doesn't happen, he's got to go. You can see here where he says the Browns got called for a face mask, but on the Browns, but it was clear the 49ers player calling it. That was, if you were in the stadium, that was probably the loudest fan reaction you've probably ever heard. And I say that because when it happened, it almost seems like the Browns like video board people, they saw the play and they immediately knew like, hey, that is not on the Browns, that's on the 49ers. And they put that shit up on the Jumbotron, and every single fan in the arena, probably all, or in the stadium, probably all simultaneously just yelled, fuck that, that's not a penalty. And I'm sure the refs heard that and they looked up at the board and they were like, oh shit, yeah, we got that wrong. Ultimately, they had to change it because when the whole stadium is literally looking at it and then you look at it yourself and you yourself can say in the back of your mind like, yeah, we got the call wrong. You have to change it now. There was also a call here you can see where they're talking about Greg Newsome was brought down by his face mask. That was on the end around, I believe, by Roddy McLeod. He was coming around like a 3rd and 1 and he grabbed a hold of Greg Newsome's face mask and he just like dragged him behind him. Not a single call. And then right here, the last part, the bullshit first down call that was pretty much set up to be 4th and inches because they couldn't make the chain correct. This one right here, as you can see. Now, is that almost like the most tiniest little bit a gap that it could have been a 4th and like a centimeter? Possibly. But the thing that's bullshit about it is, look at the way they're like leaning the pole backwards. That pole needs to be straight up and down. And also the part that's kind of dumb about it is, when you watch the review of the PJ Walker extending the ball out, he clearly gets the first down marker by at least like half a yard. But then it's like when they mark the spot of the ball, I swear to God, when PJ Walker got the first down, his ball was like here. They moved that sucker back like a good half a yard to a yard, and then they're like putting the chain here. What are we doing? But ultimately, let's go ahead and get to the box score. This was, like I said, it was the 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan, he even said it best. This was a grindy, grimy, sloppy, backyard football kind of game. The way I described it is, it felt almost like just two backyard, like bloody knuckles, we're gonna punch you in the face over and over and over again kind of game. The weather was bad. Neither team could really throw the ball. Obviously, the Browns couldn't throw the ball because with PJ Walker, he went 18-34. The fact that we ran the ball the same amount of times that we threw the ball was kind of scary to me. But I think as the game kind of got down there towards the end, where we needed to get down there and score at least a touchdown, ultimately ended up having to go for 2 field goals. That's where it was like, okay, PJ, we need you to start throwing the ball a little bit. Let me take a second to kind of talk about the 2 picks that he had. The first pick, that was a bad one. They said he kind of stared down linebacker Fred Warner pretty good, and Fred would basically just kind of stand there waiting for the ball to be thrown to him. The second pick, let me talk about it in this reference. The second pick, I feel like that was an announcer's jinx, because before he threw that pick, it was 13-10. The Browns, they were just slowly kind of chipping away at the game. It felt almost like a boxing match where it's like you have this boxer who it's like they're not supposed to win this fight, but somehow it's like they come into the fight and they're jabbing every like maybe minute or two. They throw one good hook and they're avoiding, they're staying away from the other fighter, and they're just winning on the scorecard. And that's how it felt like the Browns were taking this game. They were just going quarter by quarter, hitting the jab, keeping the ball away from the 49ers offense, going 3 and outs, getting the ball back in our offense. Even if we went 3 and out, it was just back and forth. We were getting field goals. It was 13-10. We were going into the fourth quarter. We felt like our defense could possibly hold on and get us a win. But what is something we always say about our offense? As long as they don't screw the game over and give the other team points, we always have a shot to win every single game this year. And then the fucking announcer, Greg Olsen, don't get me wrong. Greg Olsen, he had a Hall of Fame career and he knows what he's talking about. But him the entire third quarter saying, I don't understand this Browns team. They need to be aggressive. Like all they're doing is just doing simple runs. They need to throw the ball, push the ball downfield, be aggressive. Let's put the foot down, put the gas on. And for some reason, I think PJ Walker heard that and he was just like, okay, 20-yard pass, like almost like a curl or comeback route to Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper falls down. He slips because of bad weather, and the 49ers defensive back just picks it off, takes it back all the way to like the 5-yard line. Lenore, he ended up picking the ball off, took it all the way back to the 5-yard line. It took them not even one play. I think they just handed it off to, I believe, Jordan Mason. They handed it off to him, and he just ran it right in, took it to 17-13. But in that moment, it was a good thing because it kind of made us understand, hey, if we don't screw over our defense, we can win this game. And it opened everybody's eyes to look and say, look, when the offense is fucking over the defense, they can't, like, what are they supposed to do? So it's like, okay, let's move on from that play. Let's get into the late fourth quarter. We're moving the ball down the field. We get down there. We end up getting sacked on like 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13 by Nick Bosa. Not a pretty ending there. When we got that field goal, I know there was probably, I even saw some people on Twitter even saying, was there a thought in the back of the mind to go for it there? Because I don't know about you, but there was that sneaky thought in the back of my mind, like, okay, I think it was like 4th and 18, 4th and 19 there. Could they say, fuck this, we need to go for it? Because it's like, even if we don't get it, we still need the touchdown to win the game. But that was the one time where I actually liked what Kevin Stefanski did. He played the analytic game there, and he said, my defense is playing out of their minds when the 49ers have to go a long distance. Let's just take the field goal. If this defense can get me the ball back, I guarantee I can get down there for another field goal. Now, I kind of want to talk about this play here. This was probably the play of the game. Some people are not really talking about this, but this was literally the play of the game. If this throw doesn't happen and this catch doesn't happen, the rest of the game doesn't happen. I don't think we could have won this game. You look here at the screen, we're at the 40-yard line. We need 4 yards. 4th and 4, about 7 minutes to go. You got Donovan Peoples-Jones here, Elijah Moore, or David Bell right here, Harrison Bryant, Amari Cooper, and Jerome Ford. The way it looks is 49ers obviously know we're just trying to get to the sticks. That's all we're trying to do. Nothing really is going deep. They have a cover 2 just in case, like guys like Cooper and Peoples-Jones decide to go deep. And obviously in a down like this, you would think, okay, it's probably going to be going to like Harrison Bryant, maybe up the seam. Amari Cooper, maybe he's going to do like a little loop-de-loop route. Maybe Jerome Ford is going to come underneath. Something like that. But no, leave it to the guy that nobody thought the ball was going to. Bam. David fucking Bell. He just did like a little 4-yard curl, catches it. Right there, you'd probably think, okay, he catches it. He's like on the line. Hopefully he can get his body to just back up like another yard before this guy just booms him. But no, he just gets falling back, makes that first down. That was the play of the game. If he does not get that first down, everything after doesn't happen, because if he doesn't get that first down, 49ers get the ball back. They could probably just go ahead and start running some more clock off, maybe get down to like 4 minutes. And even if the Browns get down the field, then they would have to get the touchdown. They couldn't just resort for a couple field goals. I just want to kind of touch on the whole referee things once again, because I kind of forget if I even noticed or mentioned it. Like I said with the previous point, the 49ers fans, they are complaining and bickering, saying that the refs against Niners, the Browns couldn't win because of those late flags. Now, I will say the illegal contact, or like the unnecessary roughness on the 3rd and 10, I believe, to Elijah Moore, I believe, is who the hit was on. That one is like, it's questionable. Me as a Browns fan, I'm going to say, sure, I'll take that. See where the 49ers fans are coming from, because it's like, if Elijah Moore catches that ball, the hit would jar the ball loose, and that's what he's aiming to do. So I'll give the 49ers fans that one. But then later on the drive, there was also, I believe, a holding call on Amari Cooper. That is a hold. All the 49ers fans are saying that's some bullshit. That is a hold. And then for any of the teams that are, or any of the fans of the 49ers, or even the Browns that are trying to say, refs versus Browns, refs versus 49ers. Look at the penalties, bro. 49ers had 12 penalties for 105 yards. Browns 13 penalties for 119 yards. They said this was the most penalized game in NFL history. That right there should tell you something, that this game, both coaches, and Kyle Shanahan, he said after the game, when his field goal kicker, Jake Moody, was going out there to kick the field goal, whether he made it or not, there is a lot they need to clean up. And I'm sure Kevin Stefanski, he also said that as well in his press conference. There is a lot to clean up. Penalties like these, some of them were even just stupid ones. They need to be fixed. Now, I'm no kicker, but I just want to discuss this field goal. And I want to kind of get your opinion on any kickers out there that may be watching this video. What happened here? Because I went back and I watched it like a couple of times, and it's like, the snap looks good. The hold, I think, looks good. It's kind of hard to tell which way he had the laces holding. If he had those laces kind of aimed that way, that could kind of depict why the ball had the awkward trajectory. But I mean, like, the only thing I can kind of think of, if that hold is correct, is either he just shanked the kick somehow on purpose, or maybe like right here, the defender coming around, if he's like getting a good angle to block it. I'm wanting to say, like, could he have gotten a piece of it? Nobody said he did. I believe nobody said he even got a piece of the ball. So I think he just shanked it. But there was also a point where I do need to bring up, back when the Dustin Hopkins, he was making his field goal. If you watch the way he kicks it, look at the way the wind's blowing, and if you it's hard to tell, but when you watch him kick the ball, he kicks that sucker to the right, because the wind is blowing way left. I'm wondering if when Jake Moody took his field goal attempt, if he was depicting the wind was going to be blowing, but when he kicked it, look at those posts. They're going a little bit to the right. And I mean, ultimately, the wind just took it. But I mean, when you look at his kicking, he did have the one missed field goal, I believe, when they were up 7-0. They had a field goal attempt, they missed it, and then obviously that missed extra point, or missed field goal to win the game. They missed that one as well. And for any 49ers fans that will also say, well, if he would have made the first field goal earlier in the game, that field goal would have never had to happen. The Browns kicker missed a field goal too. If the Browns field goal made their kicker, or Browns field goal kicker made their field goal, it'd be 17-22, and then ultimately you would have had to go 22-20, and then 23-22. You still would have had to make that field goal. I want to go big picture for this kind of wrapping it up. A couple of things I want to say. PJ Walker, did he do a good job? I'd say if I had to give him a rating of 1 out of 10, I give him a 5. He held it down. He held down the fort. The run game was there. Kareem Hunt was running the ball. Jerome Ford was running the ball. I've seen some people talking about if Kareem Hunt needs to just be the number 1 back, get Jerome Ford off the field. Jerome Ford is still the number 1 back. Kareem Hunt, when he runs, it feels like he's not going like head on. I feel like when Kareem Hunt runs, he's a very elusive back, but I feel like he'd be better if he was just a hard-nosed, pounded in there kind of back. And they're not really asking him to do that much, so it's kind of confusing to me. But like I said, PJ Walker, he held it down. He did his thing. He'll be back on the practice squad, because I believe the breaking news is Deshaun Watson, he said in his Twitter post, whenever he was kind of responding to the Cleveland Browns posting out their announcement saying, hey, we won 17-19, he posted and retweeted with the caption of, See you soon with the guitar. So it kind of gives Browns hope that he's going to be back next week against the Indianapolis Colts. Fingers crossed. Second thing I want to kind of discuss, defense. I already kind of went over it, but I'm putting my foot down and saying now, this is the #1 defense in the league. You can say all you want about weather played an impact. Sure, you can say that, but it's not like the defense or the weather was only impacting the 49ers. The Browns were also out there too playing in that weather. 49ers had to deal with the weather, and the Browns had to deal with that weather. Obviously, Brock Purdy, he had some trouble with the ball a couple of times where he was throwing the ball, didn't really get the ball out of his hands the way he wanted it to, but that doesn't impact the way the rush was impacting the 49ers with Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith, Dalvin Tomlinson. He was in the backfield almost all game long. Something I will agree kind of on is, like I said earlier in the video, I kind of already said, injuries. You can't complain about injuries, and the Browns also had the injuries. The second Christian McCaffrey went down, it felt like the entire 49ers offense just went gone. And that kind of shows how important Christian McCaffrey is as a player. When he went down, the team went bye-bye. When Deebo Samuel went down, it felt like they could still kind of get some production out of like Ayuk. Kittle was still there, but Kittle, I think he had one catch all game. And it's not like it was like an important catch of like, yeah, he made the one touchdown. He made a catch for a yard. No touchdown, just a catch on a yard, just like a screen pass. So all in all, this Browns defense, I'm putting my foot down. I'm saying this is the #1 defense in the league. All the Cowboys fans that want to say, no, we're the best defense in the league. We got all these guys from Micah Parsons to blah, blah, blah. Stop that. And then the Steelers that want to say they have the best defense in the league. Stop that. Cowboys, you had your chance against the 49ers. You got hosed. Steelers, you had your chance against the 49ers in your stadium. Oh, what was the score of that game? Oh, yeah, that's right. And then the last thing I want to leave it off with is this. Brock Purdy. I've seen a lot of people throughout the week saying that Brock Purdy was going to be an MVP candidate this year. And I believe he was like 6th or 7th on the MVP race on the odds for Vegas. I'm going to need everybody to shut that down now. Because the way you know if you're an MVP candidate is guys like Mahomes, where when you take away guys like Tyreek Hill, you take away Travis Kelce, you take away a running game, you take away their defense, how good are they? An MVP player is most valuable player where they are the guy to where even when there's nothing around them, they can find a way to get wins, and then when they're not there, you are not winning. Now, don't get me wrong, Brock Purdy is a good quarterback, but the fact that you take away Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, arguably top 5 players at both their respective positions, and the guy just falls straight off the face of the earth, that's a troubling sign. I don't want to hear the people saying, well, how are you supposed to play without good weapons all around you? Hey, people, what do you think is going to happen in about like a year or two when it's time for Brock Purdy to get his money? When it's time to get his money, the quarterback market is going to be up around like $60 million. $60 million plus a year. How are you going to afford to pay him and Kittle and Deebo and Christian McCaffrey and still keep those defensive players all on that side of the ball? Because clearly we are seeing that's kind of what happened with Mahomes. When Mahomes got his contract, they couldn't afford to keep guys like Tyreek Hill. They let Tyreek Hill walk, and Mahomes is still having production. I just want to kind of add that little nugget in there just to kind of clarify. I still think Brock Purdy is a great player. Do I think he's MVP caliber? No. Do I think CMC is MVP caliber? Maybe. Because like I said, the second CMC went out, that offense was MIA. But ultimately, I'm going to wrap it up with this. My emotions are very high. Great win by the Browns. Coming into this game, I thought they were going to lose like 34-10. I had no hope for this team. I was pretty much already content with going 2-3 because I was like, you go 2-3, you got the Colts next week, maybe you have a shot to go 3-3. But now, you're 3-2. You have a chance to go 4-2. Deshaun Watson's coming back. We have life again. After 3 weeks of pure fucking hell of Browns fans wanting to trade Deshaun Watson, fire Kevin Stefanski, go into rebuild mode, it's all over. What is Deshaun Watson doing with the whole injury and blah, blah, blah. For us to get this win, it just feels like pure hell was just lifted off our shoulders. But going forward, the thing I'm going to say about this is that was a hell of a game. The thing I didn't actually talk about was the fight that happened or broke out before the game. That was interesting. I think now after a game like this, everybody says after you play the 49ers, you need to go get treatment in the post-game press conference and in the halftime or the post-game speech by Kevin Stefanski. He was talking to the players and he basically said, do you guys want to come into work tomorrow? And some of the guys were like, yeah. Most of them were like, no. And I'm thinking it was because a lot of them are feeling the pain now. Now their adrenaline's kind of coming down. That pain's starting to set in. They're like, okay, yeah, I'm not feeling good. Fancy gave them off until Wednesday. Most likely they're going to try to get a lift in and get treatment done tomorrow or on Monday and Tuesday. But going forward, I have high hopes for this team. Like I said, the Colts are not looking too good right now. They had their loss against the Jaguars, but Colts always lose in Jacksonville. They're playing with a backup quarterback right now. I think with the way their quarterback has been, or Gardner Minshew has been playing for the Colts, He's shown some bright spots, but he's not really been playing a lot of top dog defenses. He's going to have to play the Browns. Can the Browns slow them down? If they can slow them down and Deshaun Watson can go out there and put up 24, 27 points, again like he did with the Bengals and the Titans, get a good win, we're looking pretty. But ultimately, a win is a win, and that win was one much needed. But other than that, that's all I got to discuss for today's video. That was a hell of a win, like I said. Great win. I'm going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did go on to enjoy today's video. If you did, make sure you do drop a like. Always much appreciated if you do so. If you are a Browns fan, leave a comment down below what you kind of thought of the game. Let me know how your emotions were, what you thought about the game. Do you think this was more about the Browns defense, the offense, maybe special teams with Dustin Hopkins making a bunch of kicks? And also let me know down in the comment section down below, what was your lucky charm? Were you one of those people that was blowing against your TV when they were trying to kick that field goal at the end? If you want to know what my lucky charm was, I got a Baker Mayfield jersey. You don't believe me? And Baker Mayfield gave us life today. If you're a fan of the content that I do post here, you're a Cleveland Browns fan, and you want to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so. And don't forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.